growing deeper. It's all about seeing how our patterns, as simple as they are creating complex systems. That even little actions and thoughts can grow into amazing things, sort of like compound interest of one's thoughts. The February theme is radical interconnection. And the recommended book for February is Thich Nhat Hanh, Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. The art of happiness is the art of living deeply in the present moment. With mindfulness and insight, we can free ourselves from restlessness and cravings and realize that we have enough and that we are enough to be content. And with our talk today is our very special Steph Amand. So please help me welcome her.
Thanks. My mom also thinks I'm very special. Hey, everybody. It's been a minute. Thanks for having me. Wow, look at that Zoom room. Can you guys hear us? Zoomers?
No volume, but picked good.
Of course the picture's good. Right. Oh my goodness, okay. I get to talk about my favorite thing. You. Because you're enough, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's take a breath together and just simply and effortlessly release all the things we think we know about ourselves. Ready? We're gonna let that all go. All the things we think we know about ourselves, just let that go. Now we're gonna do that again. We're gonna let go of all the things we think we know about each other. Okay, just let it all go. All the things we think we know about each other, about one another. And now we're going to do that again. We're going to take a deep breath and we're going to let go. We're going to release everything we think we know about everything. That's better. Now that we know nothing, we can begin. Exactly. So here's my thoughts. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? Oh, I'm doing that song horribly. But you know what?
It doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
all good.
matter.
You did great.
I'm enough. I'm enough. So here are my thoughts on you are enough. And I invite you to take them in and discern for yourself what resonates. And then just practice releasing everything else that does not serve you. And join me in this affirmation. We're going to start with this affirmation. I embrace the power of knowing I am enough. I embrace the power of knowing I'm enough. I'm enough. So I wrote notes, and then God's like, got stuff coming through. Sorry, not sorry. You know, I struggled with enoughness my whole life. My whole life. I've struggled with enoughness. I believe that every single one of us has this root one thing, and it is the path of our experience that is leading us through what we think is our weakness, living this place of unworthiness. And what it really means is that path that we're on to find our worthiness, to find our enoughness, is always building us, making us stronger. If anything can make us do anything, it's our own mind. And if we want a prosperity consciousness, that's what enoughness is, right? A prosperity consciousness. We need to learn how to love ourselves. And so my road has been one of bumps and turns and falling downs and heartbreaking, epic. They make movies about this crap. I don't get any of the royalties, but they do. And in this experience, the way I found to love myself is first letting go of the idea of that not enoughness, discovering who I am. The way you love yourself is the way that you love other people. We can look around in our lives and see where the love is showing up in our lives. And we'll know how we're presenting and loving in our experience. And in my journey of not enoughness, that I am not enough, I'm not worthy of someone's love, I made choices. I made choices that demonstrated that in my life. We all do. Every single one of us. So Edwin Gaines is the godmother of prosperity consciousness. Anyone heard of Edwin Gaines? Yeah. She's been teaching prosperity consciousness for over 50 years, and she's only ever written 2 books. Her second book, the first book is The 4 Pillars of Prosperity. Her second book is How to Be Debt-Free. Forgive. Forgive. Interesting. So Edwin Gaines, she says, the more you love yourself, the more you expand in your receiving. The more you love, the more you can receive that love. So, preparing for this talk, I was like, wow, this sounds like the 4 agreements. This sounds like the art of surrender. This sounds like, the touchstones. Touchstone number 2 in my life is be present as fully as possible. And when I'm in my not enoughness, what does that mean? It means I'm not being present. I'm not being present for myself. I'm not being present for the moment. I'm not being present. And so in that enoughness, This is so weird. Does somebody know a Philip? Somebody over here is Philip, and he's driving me nuts. Wants to share the stage. You know a Philip?
No, my stepfather, but he's passed away.
Well, so was this one. Okay, interesting. We're having a different kind of Sunday now. Interesting. Let's see, we'll talk later maybe? Yeah? Because I've got a talk to do right now. Interesting, I love it. Just glad to be in the space, I guess. Glad you're here with someone who can tell you that. Anyway, so that is very public of something I have kept very private. So that's interesting. I welcome to my enoughness, I guess, right here in this moment. So the more you love yourself, the more you expand in receiving. Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. Thich Nhat Hanh, who wrote the Zen. What is it? The saving the planet. Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. Thich Nhat Hanh. He wrote, "We can imagine there are many doors leading to happiness. Opening any of those doors, happiness will come to you in many different ways. But if you are attached to one particular idea of happiness, it's as though you have closed all the doors except one. And because that particular door does not open, happiness cannot come to you. So don't close any door," he says. Open all the doors. Don't just commit yourself to one idea of happiness. Remove the idea of happiness you have, and happiness may come right away. I know every time I surrender a limiting or a lacking a thought, my moreness shows up. Do you guys find that? When you open yourself to releasing and letting go, surrendering what doesn't serve the moment, it's almost instant. And we as a human species have learned a lot about instant gratification. So the art of surrender is that instant gratification. The act of surrendering is freeing ourselves to open up to the fullness of joy. Radical joy. Radical. Do we know radicals? Anyone know a radical? No one? Yeah, you're a radical. I know you. I see you. He continues, Thich Nhat Hanh, he continues, "The fact that many of us are attached to a number of things we think are crucial to our well-being, a job, a person, a material possession, an ambition, it could be anything. Even though we suffer a lot because of it, we don't have the courage to let it go. But the truth may be we continue to suffer precisely because of that. Each one of us has to look deeply and see this for ourselves. It needs great insight and courage to release our idea of happiness. But once we do that, freedom and happiness can come very easily." So easy. Just release. Just let go. I was in a joyful, amazing, magnificent conversation with 6 people last night. We were sitting in a living room doing the old Ernest Holmes way, right? Asking questions and deeply having conversations. And 4 hours later, someone said, "It's 9:30, we should probably get going." And in that experience, we find so much courage to be ourselves when we're in an open and welcoming environment that allows us to show up as ourselves. The sticky stuff and the sweet stuff. The moments when we're in lack and the moments we're in celebration. We each and every one of us deserve and are enough to have that in our life. To be in a room where you can freely say something and have it be received and acknowledged and accepted as a truth. It reminds me of the 4 agreements. 2 of my favorite agreements. And the one thing about our enoughness is that all we really need to remember is that we're doing the best that we can, right? Agreement number 4 is always do your best. And we are always doing our best, even if it looks like we're falling down a mountain. We are doing the best. We are exactly where we need to be. We are exactly the people who need to be in the space so that it can expand in consciousness. So Don Miguel Ruiz, and always do your best, he says, your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are tired as opposed to well-rested. Amen? Oh, I am so good when I've got 7 hours of sleep and a full belly. I'm so good. I'm the best version of myself. What's hard to remember is that I'm the best version of myself when I've got 2 hours of sleep and I forgot to get groceries again. I don't do that. Anymore. right? It's our enoughness. And we think that our enoughness is being made by us. Always do your best. Don Miguel, he said, under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Here's a little tidbit on how you remember to simply just do your best, is that whatever it is you're doing, the activity you're in right now is the activity of the divine. Every conversation you're having with yourself in the reflection or a person in front of you, thank you. You're speaking to the divine. There is only one thing happening here. It is a presence that is back of absolutely everything. And when we are present for ourselves, we are present for everyone. Because there's only one. And when we are present for ourselves, we can commit to this powerful presence of living our best self. This also reminds me of commitment number 2 in the conscious commitments, the 15 commitments of conscious leadership. Commitment number 2. I commit to growing in self-awareness. I commit to regarding every interaction as an opportunity to learn. I commit to curiosity as a path of rapid learning. Knowing you are enough brings you more peace, more love, and more joy. I'm all about joy. You can be happy all you want. I'm about joy. Because joy for me is a different vibration than being happy. You want to be happy, you turn on that song by Pharrell Williams, and for 5 minutes, woo! Hi, Tess. Right? But if you want everlasting joy, we might have to peel away some layers. And we might have to engage in curiosity. Do you ever wonder where your thoughts come from? Who's the one thinking inside of your mind? Are you staying curious to those thoughts? Why did I think that? Why did I just press that send button? Oops. I just think your mind is the magnificent, most interesting thing. And so if I'm asking you a question, it's because I want to know what's inside. And the reason I want to know what's inside of you is because I already know what's inside of me. Enoughness. I've been edged and forged by fire and fueled by a source and substance that is unlimited and unmeasurable. I know this because I have crawled out from caves and caverns of my own soul and risen up to find the light within me. And now I just see the light in you, and I want you to see that too. So I'm going to start asking harder questions, because I want to dig a little deeper. I want to dig a little deeper. So, be present as fully as possible. My mom, who is a student of this philosophy, which I love. It's so great. She sent me an Ernest Holmes quote this past week. Where love is, fear cannot linger. For love dissipates the anguish of fear as light neutralizes the darkness. Ernest Holmes. And my mom. Right? My mom gave me my first meme. I'm sure I've told you this story. I was like 10 years old, and there was like this old postcard. So she taped something on the back of it and wrote a love note. And on the front of it, it's a picture of a sailboat. And it says, you cannot reach new horizons if you never leave the shore. I've had that for 38 years now. 38 plus 10. You guys are good at math. Where love is, fear cannot linger. For love dissipates the anguish of fear, and light neutralizes the darkness. So true joy or true peace is not the fleeting emotion we feel from time to time, right? Happiness comes in moments, and you grab those moments. You find the opportunities to be happy. But when we can find radical joy in the sticky stuff as we find our enoughness, as we recirculate our divine expression into our awareness. That's a true joy, finding the power and the presence within you, knowing that there's joy in all things. It is the knowingness of our wholeness, the idea that however we are in the moment is wholeness. Infinite wholeness, right where I am. All the parts of me. The parts I like and the parts I don't like. You guys get this, right? When I say I'm talking about I. So the parts I like and the parts I don't like. Learning to love all the parts of me. All the parts of me. There is nothing inside of me that is not divine. There is nothing inside of you that is not divine. Your energy, your consciousness, your magnificence. You were born that way. So Ernest Holmes wrote in Observations, we must come to believe that at the center of our lives there is a wholeness, and we should think of the mind as the door through which it enters. Therefore, we should be very careful to guard what comes into our mind from the opinion of others, and to regulate what comes into it from any source. Any source. We have the power to regulate our information streams. I know there's some words and some names I've blocked from my newsfeed, so I don't have to hear it. There's definitely more joy in my life. I'm not saying I'm not dwelling or understanding or coming to a place of awareness about what's happening in the world, but I know my mind is stronger when I'm focused and not creating more drama in the life that is one life. So I keep my mind tuned in to what is inspiring and motivational, and I shut off the volume to anything that does not serve that which I am looking for, which is peace. That's my main focus. Peace now, peace in me, peace always, peace everywhere. True peace. And where does that start from? Right inside. Peace is right where I am. Which leads me to agreement number 2 of the 4 agreements. Who wants to take a class of the 4 agreements? Yeah. What's that?
What a class would fill.
It's possible. Agreement number 2. Don't take anything underlined, bold, personally. Don't take anything personally. Don Miguel Ruiz, he says, nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Don't take anything personally. Now here's the thing. See how I underlined the word and bolded the word? Anything. Anything. Do not take anything personally. Oh, Steph, I love your hair. Did you get a cut? Oh, Steph, you're so smart. I love the way you made that. Oh, Steph, you're so great at doing blah, blah, blah. I'm not taking it personally. Not taking it personally. The sticky and the sweet. It's not personal. The infinite intelligent presence is impersonal. The law is acting for us equally. It has no choice but to be that. So don't take anything personally. What keeps us from knowing and embodying the sense of our wholeness is our belief that we are not enough and that there's not enough in the world. So back of unhappiness, Holmes writes, is the thought that there is not good enough, love enough, peace enough, health enough, nor understanding enough to go around, so that as a result, some of us lack or are short of good things in life. Having a lack consciousness, get the Band-Aids out. Having a lack consciousness is believing we aren't enough. And joy is a habit. Our enoughness can be circulating each and every day, each and every moment. It's practice. The habit of embracing who you are in every moment. It takes practice. At this beautiful conversation last night, I was sharing, what was the first thing that helped you move from anxiety? I had chronic anxiety and severe depression for 20-some years of my life. And there's the first step. What was that first step? And I was I read a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And there's an exercise that I was taught where I just zipped myself into a golden bubble. And nothing that's not mine can enter. Nothing that's not mine can enter this space. And I would visualize that before I left my apartment, which I eventually was evicted from for not being able to pay my rent. All the life that we've had. All the opportunities to find our enoughness. Oh my goodness. I forgot that was my first step and how long. She's so I was asked, did you just do it once? That was the one thing and healed? Every day we are practicing who we are becoming. Every day we are practicing. I do different techniques now. I probably haven't zipped myself into a golden bubble in some time. But it's in my back pocket if I need to. So every day we practice our enoughness. And our duty to this beautiful life that is the divine life living itself through us is to contemplate and to think and to use this gift of mind. Not to listen to what everybody else is saying, but to have our own unique expression. To discover something new for ourselves about something. Discover something new about yourself every day. Contemplate who you are, what you bring to the table. Are you as a poster on my wife's wall used to say, are you a beautiful example or a horrible warning? Each and every day you leave the house. We get a choice in that. And you know what? Either way, you're enough. Either way, you're enough. So Thich Nhat Hanh, he said, love starts with observing the body and mind. All of us have some kind of suffering. All of us have some kind of suffering. There may be suffering that has been there a very long time. We have to be able to recognize our suffering and learn how to transform it so we don't transmute it in future generations. This beautiful conversation last night reminded the cycle stoppers, right? Are we strong enough to end the cycle of suffering for future generations? Does that stop here? To truly set ourselves free and embody wholeness, we have to combine our mindfulness with our insights. By being mindful, we become aware of our ingrained habitual way of living, how we are showing up. We can stop and meditate or contemplate on the wounds and hurts that created that hole and not run from them. These wounds are our hook sometimes. They keep bringing us back. The line loosens, and it brings us back. And with contemplation and consciously becoming aware of the roots, of the things we can do to shift and change, we are recognizing that we have the power. There's no power in the hook. We have the power. It's important for us to recognize these hooks and treat them with compassion and gentleness and love. That's the only way anything gets healed. And just as a reminder, there's nothing really to be healed. Whatever we reject of ourselves, we are rejecting of the divine. Whatever we are denying our wholeness, we are denying the wholeness of this infinite intelligent presence that has been giving us evidence of its truth since the beginning of time, whenever that was. Thich Nhat Hanh, he says, we have to use the suffering, our fear, our despair, our anxiety, to create happiness, awakening, and insight. The practice is to make good use of suffering in order to create happiness. There cannot be one without the other. Suffering and happiness inter-are. We have to find a way to face our suffering and transform it into happiness and compassion, just as we use the place where we fall to help us stand up. Just as we use the place where we fall to help us stand up. So, always do your best and know that you are always doing your best. In every moment of every day. If you're breathing, you are nailing it. Be present as fully as possible, because those moments you're looking for that are filled with happiness and joy are right where you are. And remember that you are enough exactly as you are. Thanks so much for listening.